Neem juice poured on the Navapashana Linga is the medicine for this. Protection from Ambige is there for those in taking this and pouring it on body and taking bath.
For the creation not to be in loss, I clearly told the Deva Rahasya to the world. When I told these Rahasyas secret to the world in the form of Nithyananda, for the enemies not to destroy the form of Nithyananda in anger, after protecting his form by bringing him to Kailasa, after that I am telling these truths to the world. The demonishness and atrocities of humans is dancing in the world, that even Mother Parashakti needs to do self-protection before telling the truths to the world. This is a very amazing what Devi has revealed here. For creation not to be in loss, I clearly told the Dev Rahasya to the world. When I told these Rahasya's secret to the world in form of Nithyananda, for the enemies not to destroy the form of Nithyananda in anger, after protecting his form. So Devi has, now that Sri Kailasa is safe and secure, and Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Paramahansa Nithyananda, is safe and secure. So now Devi is revealing all these revelations after protecting his form by bringing him to Kailasa. After that, I am telling these truths to the world. The demonishness and atrocities of humans is dancing in the world, that even Mother Parashakti needs to do self-protection before telling the truths. So viewers, you have to understand how important this revelation is, that Devi Parashakti, these are like some bitter truths which Paramashiva is, Devi is revealing, but she is also now making sure that the form of Bhagavan Paramahansa Nithyananda is protected in a safe place. The form and the formless is protected and it's in Sri Kailasa safely. And now we are able to discuss this. Yes.
So let us now move to the next portion of the revelation, which is the current state of the world revealed by Devi. So as we were just sharing, Devi has revealed the necessity for her to protect herself as these truths are being revealed. So let's now see a little bit more about what she had revealed regarding black fungus. Mucormycosis. Mucormycosis, previously called as zygomycosis, is a serious and a rare fungal infection caused by a group of molds called mucormycetes. These molds live through the environment. Mucormycosis mainly affects people who have health problems and take medicines to lower their body's ability to fight germs and sickness. It most commonly affects the sinuses or the lungs after inhaling those fungal spores from the air. It can also occur on the skin after a cut, a burn, or other types of skin injuries. So the mucormycosis is the medical term for the black fungus. And as we can see here, these fungal spores are available throughout the environment and are basically everywhere. And it briefly mentions, and we will see in further slides, that when the body immune system is lowered, then these fungal spores affect the body in various ways, either sinuses or lungs, through the sinuses or lungs, or after a cut, a burn, or any type of skin injury.
The second crisis is killing survivors of India's worst COVID wave. 45,000 Indians have been infected with the black fungus or mucormycosis since the start of country's second COVID-19 wave in late March. The vast majority of sufferers, around 80%, were COVID-19 patients. According to India's health ministry, by July, more than 4,300 people had died from the fungal infection. This is the source from CNN. So 45,000 have been infected with the black fungus, and it's a deadly disease. So very, if you see
the second crisis is killing survivors of India after the India's COVID wave. The report says it caused more than mucormycetes, a type of fungi that people are exposed to every day. But when their immune system have been battered by the COVID, they become more vulnerable to infections. Unless treated quickly, black fungus can cause permanent damage to the face, loss of vision, and ultimately death. It has a mortality rate of over 50%. India's black fungus cases numbers are far higher now than after the country's first coronavirus wave last September. That may be due to the rapid spread of the Delta wave or the B.1.617.2 variant of the virus. So here we can see in this slide that the black fungus, like we mentioned previously, is affecting people who have had COVID because the COVID patients have had their immune system lowered. And it was not a disease which was highly spread across, here we are talking about India. So it was not highly spread in India before, but after the COVID first wave, it started to happen. And here it is mentioned that after the second wave, it has drastically improved. And now that we are into the third wave of the COVID, this fungal disease are increasingly growing, and they are very scary because, as it is mentioning here, the mortality rate is over 50%. So there's very little that can be done to protect yourself from death once this fungal disease reaches you and starts to take over your body. Here we see BBC News shares that the mucormycosis, or the black fungus, maiming COVID patients in India. So again, in India, doctors believe mucormycosis, which has an overall mortality rate of 50%, may be being triggered by the use of steroids, a life-saving treatment for severe and critically ill COVID-19 patients. So as most of you might be aware by now, that one of the pretty much the only treatment other than the vaccine towards the COVID-19 is the use of steroids in order to free the body from the effects of the COVID-19. But these steroids affect the immune system, and then therefore the bodies of those who have been injected those steroids for the sake of curing the COVID-19 are now highly vulnerable to catch this black fungal disease. India reports more than 4,300 deaths from the black fungus to date. We can see also under the headline that 45,374 cases of deadly injection reported in the country so far, says the health ministry. So this black fungal disease used to only affect approximately 20 to 50 people a year before the COVID-19, but here we can see these numbers skyrocket to a whooping 45,000 cases, more than 45,000 cases in India. In a written reply to the upper house of the parliament, Bharati Pravin Payar, the junior health minister said that the highest number of deaths from mucormycosis were registered in the western state of Maharashtra, more than 1,000 people, followed by the state of Gujarat with more than 600 fatalities. Mucormycosis is a dangerous fungal infection that mainly affects people who have a weak immune system, causing loss of eyesight, removing of nose and jawbone. So again, like we mentioned, it is affecting people with weak immune system. And the only way, or at least one of the only way to cure this is by removing body parts which are infected by the fungal disease, which is very scary. Here it is mentioned losing the eyesight when the eyes get corrupted by the fungal disease, removal of nose and jawbone. So this is very serious and surely is intensely affecting the lives of those who have this disease and their relatives.
India reports more than 4,300 deaths from black fungus to date. A study by the Center of Global Development, a US-based research group, said on Tuesday that the death toll from coronavirus in India is up to 10 times higher than officially reported figure. Like it's saying it's up to 10 times higher than the officially reported figure. True deaths are likely to be in several millions, not hundreds of thousands, making this arguably India's worst human tragedy since the partition and independence, the study said. Mucor preys on those with weakened immune system, and COVID patients have two hits against them when it comes to mucor. One, they have damaged lungs. Scar tissue from the COVID-related lung damage makes it more difficult for immune system to clear the spores. Scar tissue does not respond very well to the infection. Two, to treat the inflammation, many of these patients have been put on steroids, which are immunosuppressants. So when these immunosuppressants are entered into the body, the steroids will cause, they are immunosuppressants, and they will make the immune system very weak, and that's what the main problem is, the steroids. When the patients are treated with the steroids, it's causing these black fungus issues heavily. Next.
While India is getting a lot more mucor, other parts of the world are seeing a rise in other fungi. The Netherlands and United States are seeing a rise in other fungus, Aspergillus, among COVID-19 patients. Looking beyond India, the bigger story is that amid this pandemic, fungal infections are a major calamity because they are so hard to diagnose and to treat. So here, later on in this report, it is shared that these fungal infections are going beyond India and are pretty much affecting any region of the world because since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, and like we just mentioned, these immunosuppressant steroids, which are used to treat the COVID-19, are making patients highly vulnerable to these funguses.
The epidemic of mucormycosis is yet another of the unpleasant surprise produced by COVID pandemic following the MIS-C, a severe inflammatory syndrome that seems to mostly affect children, and long COVID, a complex of symptoms that continue to affect patients months after initial infection. Mucormycosis is one of an array of ferocious fungal diseases that have attacked COVID patients, including a lethal yeast called Candida auris and a spate of infections with aspergillus fungi that have earned the acronym CAPA kappa for COVID-associated pulmonary aspergillosis. So here I want to share something very important. Like Devi has been constantly telling about the in the same Akashic thing about the neem and use of these for fungal infections, and this is like the treatment to avoid this is so simple. If you take the neem juice regularly, a lot of these a range of fungal infections can be treated, but people are not advised about taking the right food, which is aushadha. Food is aushadha in Ayurvedic system, and we are not in Vedagamic tradition. This was the part of the life was taking the neem juice, haritaki, and all these things and build a strong immune system. But the steroids completely go and attack and damage the they are immunosuppressants, and that's how they are causing more damage. So this is shared on Scientific American, a website which shares about this COVID issues. And you can see the graphics, how the lungs are damaged and the scar tissue in that is damaged. And then that's where these lung infections and doctors diagnosing and giving them steroids for pain killing is causing this problem. Next slide.
Mucormycosis, the black fungus, maiming COVID patients in India. So steroids reduce inflammation in the lungs for the COVID-19 and appear to help stop some of the damage that can happen when the body's immune system goes into overdrive to fight off the coronavirus. But they also reduce immunity and push up blood sugar levels in both diabetics and non-diabetic COVID-19 patients. It's thought that this drop in immunity could be triggering these cases of mucormycosis. Diabetes lowers the body's immune defenses. Coronavirus exacerbates it, and then steroids, which help fighting the COVID-19, act like a fuel to the fire. So in this short segment, we can see how these steroids, which are used to reduce the inflammation caused by the COVID-19 in the lungs, which force the lungs to produce an too high amount of liquids in order to fight the infections. So this overdrive in the immune system is responsible for the symptoms of the COVID-19. So therefore, the solution was to have steroids which reduce this inflammation, but simultaneously reduce the strength of the immune system. And that is why they are called immunosuppressant. So that is then responsible for lowering the immune system. And once the immune system is lowered, then the patients are highly vulnerable to these fungal diseases.
One of the cases in Mumbai's Sion Hospital had received 24 cases of fungal infection. 11 of them had to lose an eye, and 6 of them died. Most of these patients were middle-aged diabetics, which were struck down by fungus 2 weeks after recovering from COVID-19. We are already seeing 2 or 3 cases a week here. It's a nightmare inside the pandemic. So this is like 24 cases. Out of that, 11 of them had to lose their eyes, and 6 of them had to lose the life itself. So you can see it's over. The mortality rate of this is 0.4, something like that, and which is like highly vulnerable, and especially if you have the combination of if you are diabetic, and that's what the incarnation Bhagavan Paramahansa Nithyananda has done so much sharing about how to keep the diabetes, get rid of diabetes. But people in India are more used to just taking the medicine and managing the disease, not getting rid of the disease. The Ayurvedic system of the ancient Vedagamic Ayurvedic system will treat the diabetic patient completely by yoga, proper diet, and all these things, and the lifestyle, the cooking rice properly, and so that will take care of the diabetes, 50% of the diabetic problems if you remove the starch from the water. But people in the busy lifestyle, Western lifestyle, they just put the pressure cooker and they want everything instant. And that's why you are getting the starch, which is boiled. And Bhagavan Paramahansa Nithyananda has shared so many methods of how to cure diabetes completely. But the modern medical industry is there to just manage the disease and how to make money. So that's a different topic. We can discuss that later. But
we'll move to the next slide.
There have been almost 12,000 cases of infection in India in recent months, with most of them occurring in western states of Maharashtra and Gujarat. So these are the states where most of the cases of this diabetes is also on high rise, and that's this Western lifestyle which is being picked up, and you'll see more patients. And so the COVID and this mucormycosis has hit the combination of patients who have these both things, and they are being treated with not the Ayurvedic traditional Vedic treatment, but they are going for steroids, which are immunosuppressants, which will do more damage to the health in long run.
So with this, we will be taking a short break before going into further details and information about the revelations of Devi Parashakti, as well as the black fungus disease, which we have been covered for the last few minutes. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you very much.
Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda
So yes, so as we've seen this continuous segment of what is black fungus and what are the factors which cause this black fungus. So it is not that which came out of the blue. It is the like one kind of variant from the COVID-19, what we call as coronavirus. In this segment, what doctors are like government nationally approved doctors, what they're predicting is the drugs which are used to prevent the spread of coronavirus. It may be a vaccine or a booster or whatever. All the basic drugs which are used during this coronavirus time to prevent the infection and stimulate the energy and stimulate the capacity of the patients, it all becomes the one of the major factor for this black fungus to grow. The immunity boosters which are given to the corona patients are that becomes the one of the those drugs as the suspecting it become one of the major factor for this black fungus. And they suspecting that the amount of oxygen grade which are given to the people who feel their low oxygen or this continuation of this low oxygen grade, it becomes one of the factor for this black fungus. So it is not new, and then it is not new in one country alone. All around the globe, this black fungus is spreading in across the globe. As we seen in the last segment, it is almost like 22,000 patients are already like reported with the black fungus. Yes. The second crisis is killing severe of India's worst COVID wave. So whatever the reason which we found out for the spreading of coronavirus, as like the third wave Omicron variant, the same black fungus. In the case of coronavirus, in the early stage itself, they were able to predict and what are the major factors, what are the spreading waves, all the stuff. But in this case of this new variant of black fungus, initial stage, even the doctors, they couldn't able to figure out what is the major factor for this cause. Just they able to predict and then they're just able to count the patient's death. That's all. So diabetes causes elevated blood sugar levels, perfect condition for us that feed on sugar. So it means the patients who has the high blood sugar, it actually helps and stimulates the growth of the black fungus. If you consider as a diabetes one of the major factor, then whole globe will come under this crisis because almost 50% of the humanity have this diabetes as one of the cultural diseases. So those days, having diabetes is one of the rare cases, but nowadays it's become one of the fashion and it's become one of the culture in humanity that having diabetes is okay to have. So in India, at least 77 million people have diabetes of 2019. This is the report which from this United Nations, which is based on 2020. Now it's second only to the China, which had almost 116 million. So based on this factor, you can able to assist one thing. When coronavirus affected this China, you can see the immunity level of the China's people. So they are like poor in like immunity. Then it that time it affected US people also. Then it came to India. So which means the immunity of the people it has higher than the China. Now it's affecting all around the globe, which means it's affecting the immunity people who are like higher standard immunity also, which means the whole globe they're going to suffer because of this black fungus and then upcoming all the variants, new variants also. So the United States has 31 million people, which means almost half of the people has diabetes as a cultural diseases. According to the International Diabetes Federation, which partially explains why India black fungus causes are comparatively high, because the only reason which is diabetes. As you've seen in the last segment, what based because of the food culture, so much of junk foods, so much of like saturated sugar foods, we become this one of the factors which our food pattern become the one of the reason for our diabetes. It become our cultural now. So those ancient cooking style and Bhagavastra, there is no point where you can, even at the age of 80, you won't feel I have a diabetes. But based on this, because of this modern food culture, it becomes one of the factor. So yes, previous slide, please. So by the end of June, more than 40,845 cases have been reported nationwide. 2 weeks later, the number has raised by 9% to 45,374 of those patients. Around half of are still receiving the treatment, the health ministry said on Tuesday. So which means the health ministry didn't hope, they are still continuously giving the treatment, but the rate at which this black fungus is spreading is 9% within a week itself. So it is high danger, high alarm to the whole humanity itself. Yes, next. So what causes the black fungus? See, some doctors believe there may be a link between the rise in black fungus infection and the Delta variant, a more transmissible COVID strain first detected in India in December. So it was just detected in December, but it is still now it is continuously spreading, which means what, almost a year now we couldn't able to find a solution. This is the major factor which we need to understand from this one statement alone. It was detected in the December itself. Almost in the 2019 December itself, it was detected, but we are now at December 2020 till 21. We couldn't able to figure out a solution for this black fungus. So they're just predicting. Still now, the doctors are believing and linking that somehow that there is a linkage between the black fungus and the Delta variant. Since then, the Delta variant has spread to 96 countries, and World Health Organization expected it soon become the world's most dominant strain. Omicron is in 77 countries. Delta variant is in 96 countries, which means the same lineage of this coronavirus is spreading in different ways. Yes, we have, like, you may have a booster, you may have a vaccine for like coronavirus, the first variant. Now, after that, these variants are mutating and it's spreading in a high manner. Even now, the yesterday's statement from the WHO statement is these boosters and vaccines, whatever you had before, it may help in some level, but it can't protect you from the upcoming variants. So while severe studies have confirmed that patients with the COVID are more vulnerable to black fungus, researchers have not determined if the Delta variant create greater risk factor than other strains. So if you already have corona, if you already have detected with the coronavirus and you are treated now, it is not sure that you won't get anything out. You won't get anything more than that. See, now those who are affected by the black fungus, it is like you can know there's a factors, those people who don't have the high level immunity and their bodies already went through that suffocation of this infection. So which means it's an easy door for this black fungus to enter into them and then the life can be soothed. So next. So India is fighting against the black fungus epidemic. So they are still fighting. They didn't found the solution and then they keep on fighting. But at the end, like not only India now, it's spread across the UK, Europe, Canada, and US also. So the fungus colonies blood vessels, which can lead to tissue death and then loss of oxygen supply. Left untreated, the black fungus has a fertility rate of 50% or more, which means it blocks, it controls, it blocks the blood vessels. See, we know the basic methodology of our human body works. The oxygen we are breathing, that is the major source for the energy for all our cells. We have almost like millions and millions of cells in our body. Each one is getting energy through this oxygen. When this oxygen this level goes down in our body, which means those tissues, those cells are going to dead. It may be a heart, it may be a lungs, it may be eyes, anything. It's not just your hand and legs. It can be any internal organs or intra-organs, anything, it may get dead, which means that organ going to stop function. Just think of your heart. If it stops, that's all. The life is gone, right? So same way, this black fungus, it colonizes the blood vessels, which means it's stopping the blood flow. In the more detailed way, it means it's stopping the flow of oxygen to the tissues. So that's why it is, whenever the people get black fungus, it is reported that their vision is getting lost. They are our body is becoming swelling and then the body is becoming weak. It's getting the worst lungs diseases, heart disease, everything. The vision is going off itself, which means the major, the like preliminary support of the tissues they will get from the oxygen is getting cut off. So the South Asian country, which has more than 30.4 million confirmed COVID-19 infections, second only to United States, has so far reported more than 40,845 cases of this black fungus. As I said in the earlier factor, that the South Asian countries, they have kind of little more immunity than this, like US, all the stuff. They already confirmed almost like 30.4 million people are confirmed with the COVID-19 infections, which means all these people who are already infected, they have the high risk of getting this black fungus. Yes. Yes, here's one more factor which really shocked the whole world when this doctor revealed this, even the WHO reveals this factor that using the same mask for 2 to 3 weeks could lead to black fungus development. Yes, almost 50% of world is connected to the internet. Think of the next half of the 50%. They didn't even know these factors. Almost half of the countries affected by the corona, they are able to reach this whole information, reach to the village level people where they don't have internet connection, right? They came to know that, oh, some virus is spreading. They started using some kind of weird cloth as a mask. All the stuff is happening. Same way, even if you consider the whole world as a globe, even people who are living under the sector of like really like kind of poor families, all those stuff. For them, it's like, yeah, some virus is spreading, some disease is spreading. Okay, government is asking us to wear the mask. Yeah, they will buy the mask and they wear the mask. But this factor really like shocked the whole world that using the same mask for 2 to 3 weeks could lead to the black fungus development. The report from the AIMS doctor. These black fungus infections, which is being reported in the COVID-19 patients, it's not new, but it has never happened in epidemic proportions before. The professor of neurophysiology at AIMS, Dr. P. Sarda, what he explained is possible reason for this black fungus infection is using a mask for 2 to 3 weeks could be setting for the development of black fungus. It is like layer by layer of this fungus or virus, whatever we can call, is getting settled in the mask, and this is one more layer, like how we saw yesterday. It's like how this ozone layer is affected one layer by layer, and at their peak, now it's become an acid rain, right? Same way, it is now using the same mask again, it's creating the subtle layer of virus in the mask, and up to the 3 weeks, it's letting the black fungus to grow and letting the black fungus to penetrate our body and affect our body. This is the one more reason, and this is one more factor which really shocks the whole world from the AIMS doctor's report. Yes. So isolated cases of deadly black fungus spotted in US COVID-19 patients. Till now, we discussed about the South Asian countries, which is India, all the stuff. Now, this black fungus is penetrating in the US also. The patients who are recovering from COVID-19, who had then contracted sometimes deadly function infections, known as black fungus, which means the patients which are already infected and then got cured also. Now those are like infected and then getting cured. Now all those people are reported and then they are suspecting they have a high danger of getting this black fungus also. Now the US Center of Diseases Control and Prevention said isolated cases of diseases are hitting COVID-19 patients in the United States also. Yes, next.
Yes. So now the black fungus, which has gone into the American countries, now looking at the situations, the mucormycosis.
begins to manifest as a skin infection in the air pockets located behind our forehead, nose, cheekbones, and in between the eyes and teeth. This is what the Indian agency added, that it spreads to eye, lung, and can even spread to the brain. It leads to the blackening or discoloration over the nose, blurred or double vision, chest pain, breathing difficulty, and coughing of the bloods. So we can see the various ways how this mucormycosis or the black fungus is getting spread in the human body. It is mostly on the upper part of the body, starting with some amount of pain in the chest, breathing difficulty or coughing of the blood. The breathing difficulty, chest pain was also being caused during the COVID by the coronavirus also. This mucormycosis is adding to that part, and also it is affecting on the upper part of human body, which is the face, eye, teeth. Now the deadly black fungus has been spotted into many American countries, along with the COVID-19 also. The US Centers for the Disease Control and Prevention said that isolated cases of the disease are hitting COVID patients in the United States. So it is no more limited to the Indian country or nearby Southeast or Asian country. It is also spreading to the American countries also. It says that during September, 3 clinicians independently notified the Arkansas Department of Health of multiple patients with the mucormycosis after a recent diagnosis of COVID-19. This is what the CDC researchers have reported. So they also found the similar disease with a similar pattern, which is found in India also. The condition was caused by a variety of naturally occurring fungi that are typically harmless, but it can trigger illness in the folks whose immune system have been depleted by illness, including COVID-19. So this mucormycosis is not some new, but it is technical. It is generally, it is found around the soil or around our atmosphere. But our immune systems are generally strong enough to face them. But when a person goes through the COVID or the various treatments of the COVID, which includes the steroids also, which decreases the human immune system. And that is what is being said, that the condition was caused by naturally occurring fungi, which is harmless. It is not going to be harmful, but it gets triggered whose immune system has been depleted. And generally, most of the patients who have gone through the COVID treatments because of the steroid injections, their immune system has decreased drastically. And also the people who are suffering with the diabetes, they have the high level of sugar, and that is more comfortable situations for this virus to spread in the body and cause its impact. Once established, the black fungus disease is tough to treat. So it is not easy to treat, as the world has found the solutions for the COVID. But this disease, which is spreading, it's very tough to treat. As the Indian expert explained, treatment involves surgically removing all the dead and infected tissues. In some patients, this may result in the loss of upper jaw or sometimes even in the eye. Cure may also involve a 4 to 6 week course of intravenous antifungal therapy. Since it affects various parts of the body, treatment requires a team of microbiologists, internal medicine specialist, intensivist neurologist, ENT specialist, ophthalmologist, dentist, surgeon, and others. So when so many specialists are involved into the treatment of the black fungus, that shows that it is not possible for all the persons to get the solution, to get the healing from this disease. As we know, the health conditions in the most countries of the world are not good enough. Only few of the developed country has a good health system, which will be able to give such kind of treatment to the patients, but not at the large scale at which people are getting affected through the black fungus. Especially when we look at the Indian situation, Indian health system, it's very difficult for people to get such kind of treatment into the remote areas or other cities of the country. which makes it more difficult and a serious problem in front of the government, in front of the people. Further, it says CDC identified 10 labs that confirmed the cases of black fungus illness in the patients treated at 6 Arkansas hospital between July 12 and September 28. Many cases were severe. 4 patients showed disease that had spread at the nose and mouth, with 3 of those patients also having the brain affected. And this is what the Parashakti also revealed in the Akashic reading, that it can smash even the brain also. Medically also, it was found in America that it has affected the brain of few of the patients. In the 2 cases, the illness attacked the lungs, and in 1 case, the gastrointestinal system was also affected. So it affects the many parts, many organs of the body, including the brain, including the face, the various part of the face, which is nose, eyes, and also the chest region, lungs region. So this is affecting in many parts of the body, and also we are seeing how difficult the treatment of this black fungus is. So in the absence of COVID-19, mucormycosis is exceedingly rare in Arkansas or the other states. However, based on the summer outbreak, the Arkansas Department of Health says that the coordinated state-wise call on October 11 to infection preventionist for COVID-19 associated mucormycosis cases. Dr. Amesh Adalja, a senior scholar at the Center for Health Security at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. He wasn't involved in the new report, but said it is not surprising that mucormycosis is also able to superinfect COVID-19 patients who have severe immune dysregulations. So he is saying that it is not very surprising because it's superinfect, becoming this mucormycosis becoming a super infectious. As they battle COVID-19, some of these patients may also be receiving medications that suppresses their immune system. So patients, this is affecting only those people who have lower immune system, and specifically those people who are going through the treatment of the COVID and the people who are affected by the diabetes. Here it says that the people who are going through the COVID treatment, receiving the medications, those medications are further suppressing their immune system. The COVID itself, the COVID virus itself is suppressing the immune system of the people. Further medication is also adding on the top of that, reductions in the immune system. It says such as dexamethasone or tocilizumab, and many will have already suffered lung damage. Adalja pointed out, the doctor is pointing out about this. He said that leaves them even more vulnerable to fungal infections such as mucormycosis. So this treatment of the COVID, the various medications that one is going through to get out of the COVID infection, that is making people more vulnerable to various other fungal infections. One of them is the mucormycosis. He says further, of course, many of the tragedies outlined in this specific hospital report could have been easily avoided, he added.
Yes. So yes, one thing which we really need to understand in this is the people who are already infected and got cured, and people are still surviving with the COVID-19, which means they are getting yet to get cured. And people who are vaccinated, people who are got boosters, all the people who they use on the drugs to boost their immune system. As from the last report, what we saw just now, it is saying that if you already took the boosters or vaccines or drugs to stimulate your immune system, it's suppressing your very own immune system. Our body has its own immune system to fight against the diseases. Whenever it goes down, that is how we will get cold or cough or fever. During that time, our body regenerates by itself. That is our metabolism of our body. it can able to withstand the diseases, and then it able to regenerate it by its own nature, and then it can cure the diseases. But in these cases, in the case of COVID-19, or in the case of black fungus, the people who are getting the drugs as an immune booster, it actually suppresses our own immune system, which means either they have to live the entire life with these drugs, or if they stop using those drugs, which means what? Already their own immune system is getting affected. It means a high alarm for this disease is going to get in. So one more factor, as Bhagavan said in one of the satsang, that now these modern doctors, how these ancient doctors and how modern doctors are paid. This is the point which really struck, which means Bhagavan said those days the ancient doctors will get paid only if the community of people whom he is taking care, when they are like fully healthy. When they are healthy, they will go to their work, they will do their work, and then they will earn money. Out of that money, they will give some percentage to the doctor, which means the prime responsibility for the doctor is to take care of their health. Only if they are healthy, he will be get paid. Now, this modern science, we can able to easily relate. These modern doctors are getting paid only if the people are like the community is suffer, they will get sick. So even now, this one point which really struck, what are the companies which are working to boost the immune system? They didn't analyze what are the remedies or whatever the factors which are going to affect later in their part. So as we see in this LS segment, there's people who are getting affected by the black fungus. They are not just easy to cure. And one more thing, there is still now they haven't found the proper medicine for that. And even though if they find the medicine, we are not sure about what are the symptoms what are the side effects it's going to create in the future. By its very nature, we are able to see it's affected the nose, teeth, face, especially brain, all the dead cells. So it's a deadly virus, it is deadly fungus. So we can't predict anything in this factor. Even now, WHO is like helpless with this black fungus. So now in the 2021, the Google search, this black fungus became the top list in India's most search in Google. So India's black fungus epidemic spread through hospitals' air conditioning, new suggest, which means in India, it's not countries like India, Sri Lanka, even sometimes China. All these countries are not like always have the cool climate. Even the hospital, they were like forced to run the air conditioning, right? Even people are used to, they're getting used to living with the air conditioning. So there's one more report saying this black fungus is spreading to hospital air conditioning system also, which means it's spreading easily through the air. See how we all know this basic function of air conditioning. It sucks the air from the room and it rejuvenates, it's cool down its temperature and it sends it back. So it is like circulation of air. So here it says, this report says it is one of the factors, and then they traced out this air through the air conditioning, this black fungus also spreading. So in the summer, speculation has centered around the possible role of oxygen cylinder and humidifiers, but the evidence points elsewhere, which means it's spreading through the air conditioners. Yes, next.
Just be alive for next 3 years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive, somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. I will reach you somehow. Somehow I will reach you. It's my commitment to humanity. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being Paramashivoham. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Paramashiva will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else.
What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model community. Kailasa, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Pitas all over the world.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Was tuned in to all the social media platforms of Kailasa, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube Live. So yes, let's take a few moments to share this video, and whoever wants, you feel like they should get this information and then they get the blessings of Devi, please share this live, either any medium, it's a Facebook, others maybe a YouTube or Twitter. So yes, in this segment, what we're seeing is the Devi relations. To one of the Devi relations, in Devi said about the black fungus. In Akashic reading, what Devi said is this black fungus, it's not just a virus, it's just affect our body. It's going to be a major effect. It affects the brain as well also. It's going to make the people as a deadly people. It's put them down also. So here now in the segment, we're seeing what the current world is facing, what as like what Devi said. Till now, what they covered is India is mostly affected by this black fungus. Now it's reaching out to the American countries also. And till now, they didn't find how to cure it. They didn't find the cause itself. And major cause effects we found. It's like through air conditioning, it is spreading. The usage of same mask for 2 to 3 weeks, it is spreading. And it's vitally affects, it's vulnerably affecting the blood tissues of all the organs. till now, what are the people reported with the black fungus or got affected, and then whatever the illness they faced is they got brain damage, nose, teeth, the nervous systems, and many countries, which are still the developing countries, WHO feels that they couldn't able to manage this kind of treatment for the country citizens who are infected with the black fungus. So now with this segment, the coming segment, we're going to see more about this black fungus and how the Ayurveda is giving a solution. As like Devi said, what Devi said is milk, turmeric, and neem. It's going to be only solution for this black fungus. And in this segment, we're going to see about little more details about how it is spreading and how it is affecting the people and what the actual solution for this black fungus. So the novel coronavirus has recently been linked to two serious fungal infections. One is the COVID-19 associated pulmonary with the CAPA and the COVID-19 associated with the black fungus. These two factors, the two virus, the fungal infection are associated related to this coronavirus. One is CAPA and CAM. The resurgence of the rare fungal infection has medical personnel concerned also. A 2021 study found that more than 47,000 cases of CAM, which means the black fungus, were reported in just 3 months in India. And within the Delta variant spreading worldwide, reports suggest that the number of cases is likely much higher. At a point which in the 3 months itself, the CAM, the so-called black fungus, has reported in India alone almost like 47,000 cases. And at the same time, this Delta variant also spreading worldwide. So it is not as in the same like corona case also. Even the worldwide accepted the one factor that each and every government is not producing the exact result. We can't blame the government alone because, yeah, in the remote areas, people who are getting affected, even they don't know what the real cause is. They just got fever and then they got 1 or 2 days, they're like in the bed. So those cases, even we can't blame the other governments also. So in the same case like coronavirus, the numbers are showing up in the internet. It's not the actual fact. One of the reports says the actual fact may be 10% than the what actual report which is showing on the internet. So which means if it's like 47,000 cases in 3 months, means it may be expected to be like 470,000 cases in the 3 months alone. So this black fungus, which is often mistakenly referred as black fungus, exists before COVID-19. Though it is rare and primarily affects people with severe illness such as bone marrow transplantations and actual mucormycosis, and people in the ICU with the damage to the lungs. However, it has been exacerbated with the COVID-19. So in this report, it says this black fungus exists before this COVID-19 itself. But we didn't know, these doctors during this COVID pandemic time, they didn't actually trace that this is actually black fungus. The people who are admitted into the hospital, into the ICUs, because of these lungs issues or this bone marrow issues, all the people, now it is reported that they are because the cause of this black fungus alone. Yes. So what are CAPA and CAM? The CAPA and CAM are opportunistic secondary infection caused by fungi in patients with severe COVID-19. According to the ARM, these infections are considered opportunistic because they are more common in people with an impaired immune system or who have developed lung damage such as acute respiratory disorder syndrome. These both fungal infections are considered rare. However, they can be fatal if left untreated. Fatal if it's untreated. Of the two, reports indicate that CAM is usually associated with the more severe cases as well as higher mortality rate also. If left untreated, mortality associated with this black fungus or CPA may be up to 80%, says the ARM. In the black fungus, mortality is nearly 100% if untreated. So what the statement is saying about is this black fungus. It is not that usually it affects the people. It is kind of rare diseases which go across the globe and then it affects the people. Yes, we do have the patients in the earlier before this COVID-19. People are affected with this bone marrow stuff and then like lung diseases, all the stuff. But it is a rare. Like how I said in the earlier segment, this diabetes was one of the rare diseases before this 20th century, right? Now it has become like one of the cultural diseases. Same way, this black fungus exists before. It's not in the name of black fungus, but it exists in the humanity in the name of lung diseases or any bone marrow issues. Now it's becoming very common, and then it's like its mortality rate is very higher, which means it's spreading too fast. And if it's untreated, if it's left untreated, it will cause the patient to the death. Yes, next. See, now we're going to see about what are the risk factors within this black fungus. So poorly controlled diabetes was reportedly the most common underlying risk factor in the patients with CAM in India, where diabetes is more widespread and often left untreated. People with diabetes have high blood sugar. This researchers believe makes the body a more conducive environment for fungi to grow. Yes, as we seen, like just come to the let's not talk in this language of black fungus. Let's come to the language of a normal fungus, which we oftenly seen in the water bodies, right? If you are if we were storing a water for such a long time, right? You may feel that some kind of algae formation. It is one of the fungus which grows inside the vessel, right? Which means what? This fungus are getting feed from the water. That's how all these industries where the water is the only source for them for the business, they will add chlorine into that, which means it's destroy the growth of this fungi. Same way, in this factor, this blood sugar level is reported as one of the major feed for this fungi, which means people who are affected with the diabetes, right? They are the high risk factor for this black fungus. So this poorly controlled diabetes are reportedly the most common underlying risk factor for the patient with the CAM. Whoever has the diabetes, they are the low-hanging fruit for this CAM virus. So while diabetes is more widespread and often left untreated, as we discussed about this, most of the developing countries, one side, the country itself doesn't have the support, the government itself doesn't have the government clinical support to treat these diseases. And one more side, this lethargic nature of the humanity. Now, I said this diabetes become one of the cultural diseases people are okay to have now. Yeah, there was a time, even the 90s ages, they don't have the diabetes. And later, slowly, yeah, if it's okay to have diabetes at the age of 80. Now, they moved, the age of this diabetes less brought down almost 60 years, 50 years. Now, even if you have diabetes at the age of 40 or 30, people are okay with that. And people are thinks, anyway, it's going to be there. Why need to put more money or take care of this? Let's follow the basic, minimum level of so that they can sustain, they can able to live the life. So in this case of most widespread diabetes and most untreated diabetes, those people whose this blood sugar is very high, it is the most conducive environment for this fungi to grow. So yes, next. So another risk factor is the use of corticosteroids, which are strong immune supplements used to treat the severe cases of COVID-19. These corticosteroids have been known to impair the ability of psychocytes cells that consume harmful bacteria in the body, therefore leaving the person more vulnerable to the fungal infections. Yes, it's not only this specific steroid. The moment like this COVID came, we all know this whole history of the COVID, right? So the moment COVID came, many people, almost every country, first they started to preserve themselves. But at the rate it spread, it's went up to the almost 80%, 70% of the each population of the country got affected. Then simultaneously, most of the clinical departments are continuously working to produce the vaccines, solutions, drugs for this COVID vaccines. Moment everything got, they don't have the time. They don't have the time to do the R&D, test on the human body, test on the animals like rats. Usually they will do this test on even if any vaccine which is produced in the modern field, they will test on the rats because they don't have the same metabolism as a human body. They don't have the time, so they just implemented this. After that, we all came to know the side effects of the steroids. In this case of this corticosteroids also, it is reported that it affects it consumes the harmful body and then it affects the whole body itself. Moment you got this steroid and if you it helps you in the development of the immune system, which means it's one side it is curing your COVID-19 or it may be reducing your fever, but other side is opening the door for the black fungi to get into your body and grow more. So yes, stay tuned. We'll be getting back soon with a short break. Thank you.
Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Just be alive for next 3 years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive. Somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. I will reach you somehow. Somehow I will reach you. It's my commitment to humanity. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being Paramashivoham. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Paramashivoham will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else.
Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Yes, Nithyananda, welcome back everyone. For who all tuned into the various multiple platforms of Sri Kailasa. Yes, in this segment we're seeing about one of the Devi revelations about the black fungus and what it actually manifesting in this current world and how the whole world is getting affected because of this black fungus, how it is spreading, how people are getting, and then how the whole world changed. What are the risks for this? In that way, what we saw is the diabetes is one of the major factor for this black fungus to grow, and new steroids which are taken to improve as an immune booster has been one of the risk factor for this black fungus. So in this, it is a common factor. In this segment, we're going to see more about the factors and how actual treatment process works with black fungus. So here, one most factor is the environment. Yes, right. So as Devi said, whenever this negative energy goes, as like our human body, like it rejuvenates our own body to resettle ourselves. Same way in this factor, it's environment. So environment is also to the play. The tropical climates where it is hot and humid are prime breeding ground for the fungi to grow. And evidence suggests that in India, these mucor fungi are more prevalent, making explore more like than in other areas of the world. It is very common factor, and then we can easily able to relate with this. Like during the winter season, it's not only for India, it's everywhere. Even for the during the winter season, you'll be easily able to get cold, right? Because this cold bacteria, it will easily float during the winter season, because the density of the air will be more higher in the winter season, and the density of air will be more light in the summer season. So this black fungus or any kind of virus or bacteria, it will be easy to transmit in the air when it is in the winter season, which means the humid condition. So these tropical climate areas where the environment itself plays a medium for this black fungus to transfer and this black fungus to growth by its own nature itself. And it's like the very environment itself is feeding factor for this black fungus. So in the case of India, it is kind of the tropical climates. This evidence suggests that in India, this mucor fungus are prevalent, making explore more likely than in the other areas of the world. Yes, next. Now we're moving on to the actual segment of this part is the treatment options. Yes, these are the factors which the whole government came together and then gave this treatment. But let's see how this treatment really worth and how they are able to process this. It's always they will give the suggestions and then they will give some reports saying that this all can be possible. Even now, in this case of black fungus, it is not, we couldn't able to find out the exact solution, exact treatment process. Till now, we are in the process of it may help. it may reduce, it may stop its growing. We are in that level alone. So the early interventions is critical for both CPA and CAM. The healthcare teams and hospital staffs are being urged to increase their awareness of these fungal infections. The earlier you can screen the patient and spot the infections, the better. That says one of the doctor report, which is the ARM. So screening can include a test that measuring galactomannan, a molecule found in the cell wall of Aspergillus fungi. A computed tomography, the CT scan, is used to confirm a diagnosis. Pending confirmation, doctor should treat a patient immediately, which means it's like more than a proverb kind of saying prevention is better than cure. So if it goes to the level where we can't able to control, it's going to be left untreated. What this Dr. Aram is saying, it's better to screen the patients, which means diagnose the patient and then notify the patient that he's affected with the black fungus. Maybe it may be easy for them to control and then cure in the aerial stage itself. Sorry. So the CT scan is used to confirm the diagnosis. What actually they does is the test includes, they'll measure the galactomannan is a molecule which is found in the cells of the fungi, the black fungi which we are talking about. There is a molecule called galactomannan, which is considered as the growth factor. If the galactomannan is higher, which means the fungus is more stable in the body and it's growing faster also. Based on the level of the galactomannan, the molecule in the cell of the fungi, it is diagnosed as whether the patient have the black fungi or not. So it's better to have, even in this segment, this article says about, they didn't give the proper treatment process. They're giving the solution, they're giving the option, they're giving the one of the suggestions saying that it's easy for them to sustain, it's easy for them to save when it is detected, diagnosed in the early stage itself. So next slide. So researchers shows that the combination medical therapy may be needed. This includes using antifungal medicine in addition to controlling the blood sugar and the immediate removal of any dead tissues. It's like the moment you heard about this whole term, it is like one more suggestion. It is not actually, they still now in the process of suggesting to the suggesting level only. It may be needed. The maybe word itself, we should be the whole humanity should be aware of this word. Maybe it is still now this whole doctors are not convinced about the actual step to cure these diseases. So the whole treatment process is complicated. The moment they stated itself is complicated, including using the antifungal medicine in addition to the controlling of blood sugar. It is whatever the people now taking as a diabetic tablets, in addition to that, they have to take the antifungal medicines, right? So which means one side, this diabetes, the tablets or any drugs, it's going to, either it may be an insulin or whatever, it may be control the blood. It's try to control the blood sugar because that is the major feed for this fungi. On another side, we should have this antifungal medicines, which means it may work based on the people's metabolism itself. For few people, it may stop its growing level itself, or for few people, it may remove the whole fungal. For some people, it may act as it won't act on itself, right? So in this case, this antifungal medicines, what they suggest and what they believe, it kills the fungus which is already there. So in that case, we have to immediately remove all the dead tissues also. Our human body our whole metabolism is able to carry out the dead blood vessels. Yes, each and every cells is reborning and it's dying also. So our body is able to have the metabolism to remove all the dead cells. But in this factor of this dead tissues of this fungi, as we saw in the earlier segment, it's affecting the nose, it's affecting the mouth, it's affecting the face, it's affecting the heart, it's affecting the brain, it's affecting the major vital organs of our body. So in those cases, the people who comes and ask for a solution or like treatment for the black fungus, which means they already have some part of their body which is already affected because of this black fungus. In this case, they have to take the antifungal medicine to stop its growth or like kill the already whatever the fungus is. And then they have to take the diabetes medicines also. And there should be a treatment. There should be a surgery to remove all the damaged tissues, because they can't have the dead tissues in their body. It may lead to the more damage of the parts also. So while antifungal medicines have been an effective treatment option for CAPA, there are few medicines that work as effectively in CAM also. So this is one more studies. There are few for antifungal medicines which are like effective in the treatment of CAPA. But in this case also, there is a red alarm. They are working good, but we don't know about the side effects also. So yes, next slide. So here comes the actual conclusion for this black fungus. Prevention is better than cure. An article from Forbes exposes how the diabetes, steroids, and COVID make a deadly combination for the black fungus. All the allopathic food and drug industry does not want to solve the permanent cure for the diabetes. Through yoga and educating a simple Vedagamic lifestyle changes into the masses. A simple remedy is Ayurveda. This is what Bhagavan is trying to do through this establishment of Sri Kailasa nation. From the age of 16, is trying to do this, implement the same step as a yoga as a basic medicine for the human beings. Either it may be a Ayurveda, it may be a basic Panchakriya, what we are supposed to do in every day, basic cleansing process, basic detoxification process, or basic bending our body. All this stuff, it is the one of the major factor for our healthy life. So now people are catching up. The articles from the Forbes expose that how this diabetes, steroids, and this COVID are the deadly combination for this black fungus. The moment you have the diabetes, it is like you are like highly capable for holding the black fungus. The moment you got the COVID, which is like already your door is open for you to have the black fungus. And steroids, they act as doing good for you, but they like on the back hand, it opens the door for your black fungus also. So all these threes are deadly combination for the black fungus. You may say that, yeah, I'm younger, I don't have diabetes. But think, almost 80% of the humanity in the whole world is getting vaccinated. We may not know about those steroids. Yes, results are proving they are good, but in later parts of our time, we don't know. As we saw one of the steroids, which is becoming the major factor for the growth of fungi. So these steroids and then COVID wave, still as we're discussing about this COVID wave, first wave is over, second wave is over, and third wave is coming, and this Omicron variant is spreading in almost like 77 countries. All these mutated COVID variants, they are more danger and they are more vastly spreading and vulnerably affecting the people. All these cases, this black fungus they are all eligible for this, having this black fungus as one of the diseases. So this all the allopathy food and drug industry does not want to solve the permanent cure for diabetes. It is most debated topic in the modern world. Even allopathy industry, which is they are not trying to cure the diseases. They are able to sustain the diabetes. All these medicines, what we are taking, all the food prescriptions, what they're giving is to keep the diabetes in the level where you can live your life, but You'll be completely dependent on them. There is a market industry between this whole allopathy. So what this article says, adding to that, he said, through yoga and educating the simple Vedamic lifestyle, as Bhagavan is giving the whole humanity through the establishment of the Hindu country, Sri Kailasa, he is the source. He is giving this is a lifestyle solution for everything. Those days, our food will be the medicine, right? For everything, as each and every person can relate to their like a family, how your forefathers, how your grandfathers, all they lived a happy life because they felt their food is the medicine. Nowadays, it's becoming medicines becoming the food for the people. Morning on dosage, before meal, after snacks, before lunch, after lunch, before dinner, after dinner, everything now is the medicine becoming the food for the people. So the simple remedy is Ayurveda. The Jalaneti ritual is in Vedas will avoid COVID and black fungus pathway significantly because it's well-known factor that this COVID and black fungus is spreading through air, which means the major portal for getting this thing, black fungus as COVID is through our nose because that is why there's even the mask preventionist came that we won't be able to, that mask will give the certain level of protection. So Jalaneti, the rituals in Vedas, it is avoided to COVID and black fungus, which is the pathway significantly. Yes. So as you know, all kind of diseases increases due to our food and drink. In such a situation, if you have recovered from COVID, then you also need to pay special attention to your diet to prevent black fungus in this phase. To reduce the black fungus, Ayurvedic doctor has suggested some kind of diet for this. 11 Ayurvedic medicines can help prevent the fungus. So now people are getting back to the basics. As we said, they came to know about the real truth about this Ayurvedic. One, it is 100% cure and it won't have side effects. So what this article is adding to is all kind of diseases. The major factor, it can be a medicine, it can be like one of the risk factor also. If you're having cold, if you're having ice cream, if you're having any cold stuff, that's going to be one more additional to your cold. Or if you're having a healthy tulasi tea or tulasi leaf, that's going to be medicine for your cold. So in that factor, if you consider each and every diseases, our food and drink will be the one of the major factors. So in this situation, if you already recovered from the COVID, don't feel you are safe. Really, this is a time you really need to work on your diet. Pay attention to your diet to prevent black fungus in this phase because you are the people who are with the high risk factor of having the black fungus in the future. Not only black fungus, the multiple variants is mutating and coming in the future also. So you are at the high risk. So when you are come out of the COVID, now you have to really put your special attention to the diet to prevent the black fungus in this phase. So now the Ayurvedic doctors have suggested 7 Ayurvedic medicines which can prevent fungus. A Vaidya at Jeevottama Center, Bangalore recommends 11 foods for people suffering from black fungus. It said that if you are in COVID recovery phase, then take these things in your diet will give you a lot of support and can protect yourself from the black fungus. Do not consume this kind of food to avoid black fungus. Otherwise, there will be a heavy damage to the health.
Okay. So now we'll talk about another solution, which is turmeric. So according to the doctors, you can consume turmeric in the various ways in the disease of black fungus, along with using it in the vegetable and casserole You can drink it by mixing it with the milk. So all these solutions are well given into the Ayurvedic texts in the various Vedas and Agama as the solutions of these fungal diseases. Turmeric, which work as an antioxidant, antibacterial, and antifungal element, which gives the body the power to fight these diseases. So what we need as a solution is the ability to fight these diseases, and not just when the diseases occur, we going to the hospital and getting some sort of treatments. Once we get caught into the disease, it is going to be costing to our health, to our life, and also in terms of money. But before that, there is only solutions which Ayurveda gives. Is a very simple solution which we all have, which is available in our kitchen, and that is turmeric. Turmeric also contains many nutrients like protein, fiber, vitamin C, vitamin K, potassium, calcium, copper, iron, magnesium, and zinc. Its consumptions boost the immunity of our body so that we can protect ourselves from the infectious diseases. And as we are seeing, none of the medical system is giving us the prevention methods, how to prevent ourselves from this mucormycosis or other various fungal infections that can happen because of the loss in immunity, whether by the treatment of the COVID or by the diabetes. Here the turmeric has the property that reduces vata kapha dosas, and it also helps in increasing the blood in the body. Consumption of turmeric is also considered very useful for diabetic patients. So in the various way, you can consume the turmeric either through the food that you are consuming regularly or through the casserole, or also you can drink it in the milk and drink every day. The dangerous white fungus came after the black fungus, attacks like the lungs, COVID-19, which is also a very risky, but the turmeric is one good solution which can actually prevent, which can actually increase the immunity of your body to fight such kind of fungal infections. Many people do not even know about the neem leaves because, they do not eat because it is bitter in taste. But according to Ayurveda, consuming neem on an empty stomach every morning increases the immunity of the body. So it may taste bitter, but it is very good for the health. It is going to give us a healthy life and protect us from all sorts of fungal infections. According to Ayurveda, daily consumption of neem leaf helps to balance many disorders of the body. Also, neem is said to be very beneficial for the skin. Neem soap and face wash also can be used in the bath. So now we all are aware of the various solutions which can prevent us from the various fungal infections that can happen either due to the COVID treatment or because of the diabetes or various other reasons which is causing loss in the immunity. Now, as we know about the various solutions, it becomes our responsibility to share these solutions with every single individual. As we are seeing, there are huge number of cases of Omicron or the various fungal infections or the COVID cases, which is happening all across the world. This is the right time. Still, we have the time to share the true knowledge of the Vedas and Agama, the right solutions given by Devi Parashakti, revealed through the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. It is our great responsibility to share these solutions with every single individual. Here, we will be sharing few of the easy methods how you can share this greater science of Hinduism with your near and dear ones and everyone else who is connected to you on your social media. Most of us spend a good amount of time on the social media, almost 4 to 6 hours of our every day is spent on the social media, which can be either Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or some other channel. We can take that opportunity at the same time while we spend our time on this various social media. We can also take the opportunity to share the greater science of Hinduism with your friends, your family, and various other people who are connected to you on the social media. So the very first platform, which is YouTube channel, you can share this YouTube channel with your friends and family, and also you can take the benefit of directly interacting or directly putting your questions or your request, your prayer in front of Devi Parashakti. So you can search for Kailasa HDH Nithyananda on YouTube. You will get the official YouTube channel of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. So to put your questions in front of Devi, you need to become a membership. You need to subscribe for the membership. You can click on the join button and it will give you the options, various options to become the member. Once you become the member, while the live, Akashic reading goes on, you can put your question, you can submit your questions through the comment box. So on the right side, you will see the comment will be enabled, but that is only enabled for the membership options or the subscribers of the membership options. So you can put your questions. They will directly be taking your questions and giving the right solutions. You can ask for the boon and blessings. You can ask for your healing or healing for your friends and family, anyone you want the healing to be received by Devi Parashakti. The another platform, which is Facebook. So on the Facebook pages, you can go and search for Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda Paramashivam. This is the official Facebook page of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam. Once you go on this Facebook page, please do like and click on the following button. Once you click on the following button, you will be able to get the notifications of the live Akashic reading. So once you like and follow, you can, whenever the live Akashic reading goes on, you can come to this Facebook page and put your questions under the comment section. Once you put the question under the comment section, your questions will be taken by Devi Parashakti and she will give the right answer to your problem. The another social media platform which you can avail is the Twitter. On the Twitter, you can search for Sri Nithyananda, which is the official Twitter handle of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. So if you have not liked, please do follow or click on the bell button to get the continuous notifications of the live Akashic reading. To keep yourself reminded, keep yourself aware about the live Akashic reading. Here, once the Akashic reading starts, the live is going on, you can click on the reply button. And in the reply button, you are supposed to be putting a hashtag ask the avatar, and then your question, your prayer, your boon that you want to ask to Devi Parashakti, or the healing request that you want to ask to Devi Parashakti. Do not forget to put the hashtag ask the avatar. Through this hashtag, put your prayer to Devi Parashakti. Devi Parashakti will be blessing you with the right solutions for you. The another social media channel which you can watch the live is the Instagram. So on Instagram, please search for Sri Nithyananda, and then you will get the official Instagram handle of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Here also, step 1, please follow on the Sri Nithyananda on Instagram. Once you follow, all the live live Akashic readings will be notified to you. Once the live is going on, you can click on the live and put your questions in the comment section. From here also, Devi Parashakti will be taking your questions, attending your questions, boon, blessings, or any healing request that you have. The another channel where you can interact, where you can seek your blessings to Devi Parashakti is the official website of Kailasa's government, which is kailasa.org. Once you browse this website, in the left side, you will get the WhatsApp chat. So please click on the chat on WhatsApp. It will give you a window pop-up where you can put your questions, you can ask your questions, and directly you'll get your response in your WhatsApp. So these are some of the methods through which you can interact. You can put your request to Devi Parashakti, and you can also help your friends and family and others, social media followers, your friends, to get benefited by this Devi Parashakti Akashic reading. So whenever you are putting your questions, whenever you are coming for the Akashic reading live, you can also share at the same time. You can like, comment, and share on your wall so that it spreads, it increases, it reaches to more and more people and enriches more and more life. Understand? All these solutions from Devi Parashakti is going to give life to millions of people. There are millions of people who are getting affected by the direct COVID and the indirect causes which is happening because of the COVID. So even though people may not be getting directly impacted by the COVID, but the COVID as collectively, it's impacting the society, it's impacting the economy, and thus impacting every single individual life on the planet Earth. So it is our great responsibility to share with as many people as possible. So take this opportunity and share with everyone. With this, we will be moving to the next segment. But before we move to the next segment, we'll take a short break, and then again, we will be connecting with all of you.